Good morning, you wonderful people. I hope you're all doing really well. It's been a few days since I did a video, so I thought I'd quickly jump on it. And well, I'm just driving in. It's been a bit of a hectic sort of 2 weeks with it being Easter, having the kids off and all the rest of it. So let's dive into it. Welcome to TalkCrypto. Yeah, the market's been just chopping sideways, really, hasn't it? It's just been in a range, and everyone's all going, oh, it's dropping down, and it's always getting excited, it's gone up again. But basically we're in a bit of a range, and things will happen when they happen. Just having patience. Now, quick update on the $1 a day Bitcoin challenge. So today, again, for those who are new to the video, I'm doing a $1 a day Bitcoin DCA challenge for the next 10 years roughly. And I'm just documenting it to share with you and just try and encourage you to do the same. Not necessarily exactly $1 a day, but the point is just accumulating the sats, accumulating the Bitcoin, and thinking of your wealth and thinking more in Bitcoin terms rather than fiat terms. So, you know, as we have a tendency when we think about saving, we tend to think about saving in pounds, dollars, yen, or whatever local currency we happen to have, but rather than that, thinking about actually accumulating the sats and thinking about, you know, your wealth in terms of sats. So, you know, longer term, you know, hopefully over the next 10 years or so, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Now, for everyone's reference, I got $1 a day, and it was 1,756 sats, something like that. You have to forgive me, this is a one-take video, and everything I say is very much, I'm trying to remember, like, whether it's facts, figures, and all the rest of it. So it's not necessarily always 100% accurate, but hey, you shouldn't be listening to anyone on YouTube thinking that what they say is 100% accurate at all. So take everything I say with a word of caution. So yeah, that's how many sats I got today, which was cool. And we'll see over time how many sats I can accumulate for $1. You know, will it go down to under 1,000 at some point? Will it be, you know, under 800, under 500 sats? Imagine one day if one sat was $1. Who knows? We'll see. So what do I want to talk about today as I'm driving in this beautiful sunny day? So this is actually not a Bitcoin video. I know I've been doing a lot of Bitcoin videos of late, because ultimately that is the king. That is the number one asset. That's the one that everyone should be thinking about as their main, I guess, saving vehicle. Will have, you know, your future, all the rest of it. And of course, Bitcoin won't get the same gains as many other smaller projects, but long term it will always be there. Anyway, I don't want to digress. There's a point I've been talking a lot about Bitcoin. I'm very focused on Bitcoin, but that's not to say I'm not thinking about and looking at other projects, etc., etc. Ultimately, you know, we've got to think about investing, divestment portfolios, etc. So I'm a big fan of Cardano. In fact, I'm a massive fan. I think the whole what Charles Hoskinson and IOHK and the whole gang, you know, it's absolutely phenomenal project. But I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of why Cardano is like the best layer one project or whatever. You know, there's a lot to it, and I won't do it justice by trying to drive and remember everything as I'm talking with one take, without even referring to any notes and things like that. Long story short of it is, if you're not in Cardano, you're completely mad. You know, it is without a doubt the number one, other than Bitcoin, crypto project out there, without a shadow of a doubt. So, but the video is really thinking about price, because a lot of people who come into crypto really attracted because of the price opportunity and where it's going. Now, eventually you might then discover other reasons why you like crypto, etc., etc., which is like the decentralized nature of it. You know, sorry, I'm trying to drive and talk and all the rest of it. Okay, so anyway, so long story short is I was just thinking about price predictions, and these are always a bone of contention whenever people get them wrong, because people will just go back and say, oh, you said it's this and it's going to be this, and it wasn't, and whatever. So, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all grown-ups. Make your own decisions what you want to do and how you want to invest your money. You know, this is obviously not financial advice. It's just some dude on the internet just sharing his opinion as he's driving and trying not to crash. So, but what got me thinking was, okay, you know, we hear price predictions a lot with Bitcoin and obviously other projects, including Cardano. But with Cardano, it seems to me that a lot of people are missing something potentially missing something out, and that's, you know, everyone has a feeling that's between $5 and $10 and all the rest of it. Almost in a conservative sense, I suspect. And occasionally you might, you know, you hear some people talk about higher figures and all the rest of it. But not a lot of people are really talking about how Cardano's market cap has shown a little pattern. And I know it's always be cautious when I talk about patterns, because things that have happened in the past aren't necessarily going to happen in the future. So this might be completely wrong, so we'll see. But there seems to be a pattern. In the previous two cycles, the market cap of Cardano was about 12th to 13th of that of Bitcoin, both times. Just round figures. Again, with this video, you know, I'm not showing charts, I'm driving a car, so I'm being very approximate with all the figures I'm giving you. But at the peak of Bitcoin market cap, it was about 12, 13 times from memory higher than the peak of Cardano's market cap on both cycles. Now, if we think about price in terms of what's it going to be if the market cap hits this, and if that scenario plays out again, in other words, if Bitcoin is £250,000, what's the market cap going to be? And then work it out, calculate it, and then go, okay, well, if that's the case, and Cardano follows a similar pattern of being 12th or 13th of Bitcoins, that could give us an indication of potentially what the price may look like. So I've not heard, I mean, forgive me if somebody has done a video on this and talked about it. I haven't heard anybody talk about this. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. Well, I'm just going to try and park as I'm talking. So it might be, like I said, it might be completely nothing. It might be something in it. But it gives us something to think about, because ultimately, if we think about it, all ships rise off the back of Bitcoin. You know, when Bitcoin's up, guess what? Cardano's up. Every other project's up. When Bitcoin's down, every other project's down. So let's not fool ourselves that somehow, you know, Bitcoin isn't, like I said, the king, and you know, all ships rise and fall off the back of the price action of Bitcoin. So let's just pretend that Bitcoin hits 250,000, which I think in one of my very, very early videos, that was my sort of expectation. I've since sort of being open to the idea that it's going to exceed that. I'm not, you know, I think we've just got a monitor thing. And I don't want to digress. So let's say Bitcoin hits 250. If the same patterns play out and Cardano has a similar market cap in terms of it being the 12th or 13th of Bitcoins, then I did some calculations, and long story short, it works out roughly $11, $12. If Bitcoin hits, and this is where it gets interesting, really, because you know that's on the sort of realm of what everyone was sort of thinking and talking about, that sort of figure. So I thought, okay, that's cool. As the Bitcoin community are talking about the potential for Bitcoin being a lot more, You know, as we all, you know, we hear these videos and all the rest of it. You know, Kathy Wood expecting from ARK Invest, you know, I think it was 1.5 million or 1.25 or something like that. Anyway, we're hearing all these figures. So, but what we've got to think about is how, okay, well, if Bitcoin price is going to go to that level, then all ships rise with Bitcoin. So what does that mean for Cardano and of course every other project? So in that sense, okay, let's work out some figures. And I did it again, and this is what I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I played out that scenario, and again, if Bitcoin hit 500,000 as an example, Cardano, I don't know, a 1/12 of that market cap would equate to around about, what was it, $23, something like that. Again, I haven't got the figures exactly, but it's around about that. So, okay, that seems reasonable. And again, if we had, if Bitcoin hit $1 million, well, interestingly enough, the potential price action for Cardano would be, again, assuming the pattern plays out, around about $47 from memory. So I think those price points seem to make logical sense in terms of, you know, we're not just picking figures out of thin air. We're going, okay, let's look at patterns. Let's look at what's happened in the past. What was the market cap of Cardano versus Bitcoin? These previous cycles, it was, you know, that was the sort of the range and the proportion that Cardano was against Bitcoin. So the point is, you know, we can sort of play those scenarios out and make those calculations to estimate, okay, well, if Bitcoin hits this, Cardano might hit this market cap, which means this. So that's really my sort of thought process that I've been going through, and I just wanted to share with you more than anything. Whether it does or whether it doesn't, you know, we don't know, but I think it's a case of being acutely aware that we've got to be flexible in our thought process in terms of expectations. We've got to be quite fluid in terms of our price predictions, not being set on a particular figure, but just looking at the market as a whole to see how things are changing, how Bitcoin price is affecting things, how the growth of sentiment, all that type of thing. So I think it was just it's an interesting thought experiment more than anything else to go, okay, well, you know, not just looking at charts and going, oh yeah, it could go to this, and well, maybe it could, but it's thinking about, okay, well, what actually happened? You know, Cardano versus Bitcoin. How did, you know, what was the market caps looking like? Interesting, similar patterns. Is that going to play out? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But it gives us, again, another thought process to think about. So I'll leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed the little video. You know, obviously, if Cardano hits $47, Bitcoin hits $1 million, I think we'll be very happy. It might not do that. It may exceed that. We literally have no idea. But it's going to be a crazy next year and a half. So, you know, we haven't really got started. We've got a few days before the halving. Again, we're not even at the halving stage. I mean, everyone's going crazy already. So it's quite fun. So we're just warming up. Don't get too excited. Don't go too crazy. Keep it simple, guys. I'm going to leave it at that. Like, subscribe, and really appreciate all your support. Take care, guys.